You are now listening to Ride With Me, the Flat Tire Podcast.
Welcome to Ride With Me, episode 37. Today is February 6, 2021. Today is actually Julian's birthday. My son Jojo turns 12 today. Happy birthday, mijo. I know you'll listen to this someday. Happy birthday, buddy. I love you, and I will see what we do for you later on. But on to my guest for today, my buddy Jaime. Jaime, I've known for quite a bit of time. Known him since we were teenagers through a family friend, my buddy Frank, who wants to come on the podcast, and he's been a little busy at. It's kind of harder with him because he lives in Atlanta. What is it? Where does he live at?
Somewhere in Georgia.
Georgia.
Honestly, I get it confused because my aunt and uncle moved out to the Midwest. So
Also, as well, yeah.
yeah.
So my buddy
I could be
Frank.
wrong.
My buddy Frank is he moved to the we'll make it easy. He moved to the East Coast.
Yeah, there you go.
He said,
It's
"Fuck
far away from
California."
here.
He said, "Fuck California, I'm out," and he took off.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, right. I've known Frank since I was 15 years old. So again, Frank would bring me to family events, and I met.
Frank's my uncle.
Frank's is Jamie's uncle, and
Put that in.
so I got to know Frank pretty well, and like I said, he brought me around family whenever, like Easter, for example. Easter comes to mind all the time. Easter of
Yeah, we had fun on Easter. Dude.
yeah,
It was always
Easter
a
of
good time.
2011. I was technically homeless in a way, sleeping on a buddy of mine's kitchen floor, and I still had to pick up my kids and entertain them for the day. And for Easter, Frank's like, "Would you want to spend Easter with our family?" And I'm like, "Well, yeah. Where are you going?" "I'm going to go to my sister Rosie's house," which Rosie is Jamie's mom. And we're gonna go and you know what? Real quick side note: you actually live on the opposite side. Your backyard faces my backyard. My friend's backyard. My buddy Ish. He lives in the same.
really?
Yeah, he lives. We actually we went to celebrate his son's first birthday party years ago at that little hall next to the pool.
Oh yeah. Little I know what you're talking about.
So Easter 2011 always comes to mind because I believe that day you guys made it very fun for my kids. And they were obviously 2011. Julian's 2. 10 years
That's
ago,
a decade
dude.
ago.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah, 10 years
That's
ago.
crazy.
Julian's 2. Nick is going on 4. Layla is what? I'm gonna say 13, 7, 8 years old.
It's
And
amazing, dude.
yeah, you guys have an Easter egg hunt, and
Right.
you guys are making sure that everyone has a good time, and all the kids are pretty much everything's like how would I say, not fair. I'm not gonna say fair, but example.
Everybody's included. I
Yeah,
think
exactly.
My mom's
There you go.
really good about that.
There you go.
Like if it's Christmas, she'll make sure that everybody gets a gift.
Exactly.
Even if we don't know you that well, she doesn't want anybody to feel like excluded. And I think
Exactly.
that's-
So I remember the kids were doing the Easter egg hunt, and I think one of my kids, popped up, opened an egg, and there was no money in there, and you came up to him and you kind of slipped him a 20. Hey, this fell out of your egg, and oh, cool, Dad. I think they made like $30, and they're all happy, and
Yeah.
and I think that's one of the best Easters they had back in those days. And
That's awesome, dude. I mean, just to hear that, I didn't know you were homeless at the time, bro. I mean, it's crazy to hear like a story like that.
Yeah,
And
it was back and forth, like sleeping here and sleeping there. Frank and I
Yeah.
did a lot of camping actually because we were obviously both in the. He at least had a car, but
yeah.
yeah,
I know he was in that kind of a space too for a little while.
yeah,
Like in between places, and I'm glad that you guys had a good time. That you look at that as a positive.
yeah.
Experience.
If
That's good to hear.
if I'm correct, like you said about your mom, if I'm correct, that Christmas before Easter, again, Frank invited me to come over, and like you said, your mom does not like to not hand something over. That someone is going to open something, regardless of what it
Yeah.
is. And I remember she gave me every time, either birthday or whatever event we were having, Father's Day, birthday, Christmas, whatever. She always gave me
Yeah.
scratchers.
Well, I think like when people are respectful and polite, it goes a long way. Like, um, she did a good job raising my little brother and I. We have different dads, but I mean, he hasn't made some of the a lot of the mistakes that I made, and you know, but we're like to the core, um, we're both good people. Like I'm a little rough on the edges sometimes, and I'm just about like you treat people how you want to be treated, and so like right off the bat, I always got a real respectful and positive vibe from you, and so that's what I always try to give back. You know what I mean? You can tell, you know, how people are by how they treat other people, and you're always positive and respectful and appreciative, and I think that's why my mom always like was okay with you coming over and bringing the kids, and was like, yeah, of course you can come over, and it was never a problem, and you kind of became like extended family. I mean, I know you were real close with Frank, and we knew each other, but we never really got to hang out a whole bunch.
I honestly think this is the first
Yeah,
real conversation we've ever had.
I think this is definitely the longest conversation we've ever had for sure, dude.
Yeah,
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 uh, yeah, and it's not like I was, like I didn't like you or anything. It's just that I had so much going on in my life at that
yeah,
time.
yeah,
That's just, I mean, that's what it was. I was going a million miles per hour,
yeah,
and but I'm glad that you, like I said, that that was a good time for you. Like you even though you were in a place that wasn't so great, that you were still able to find some positivity,
yeah,
and that we were a part of that. That's good to hear. Like,
yeah.
that really like, that makes me feel good.
No, yeah, you guys were, like I said, always welcoming. You guys never took Frank to the side and say, "Oh, come on, you brought him again." You guys never did
No, because it
that.
was never like that.
Yeah,
It was
and
never like that. Yeah.
like I said, it was, you guys were always, your mom. I mean, I think it was because I also helped your Frank a lot of times work on your mom's kitchen.
Yeah, yeah. You guys were always doing work together, and that's something that I don't like. My brain doesn't work like that, like that mechanical side of stuff.
Well,
I mean, yeah.
working
And
with
so Frank
Frank,
and you were always good at that.
yeah, yeah.
What's that?
I said working with Frank is the reason why I hate painting.
Hey, but you know how to do a lot of stuff. I bet you know.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah,
yeah, I mean, he's helped me change my alternator out in my truck. I mean, that's something that like it saved me a bunch of money. I wouldn't have been able to do on my own, dude. I wouldn't have known where to start.
yeah,
But like, with him telling me, okay, unscrew that, take this out first, and then put this back. I mean, we did it, I think, twice on my truck.
yeah,
Changed the alternator on that thing.
yeah,
Um, so I mean, he's got that kind of mind,
yeah,
I just don't have
yeah.
that part of the brain that functions like that. So
Yeah, no, but no. Again, you guys, I got to meet your cousins. I think from your aunt Anita.
yeah.
I got to meet. Dude, I've seen their Facebook pages, man. The little one who was like 5 years old. He's what, like 18 now? Like,
Oh, Gabriel.
yeah,
Yeah, we used to call him Gabe Jr., but he's not. He's not little anymore, man.
yeah. I like I said,
He's doing good stuff now. Like
yeah,
he went through his little rough patch or whatever, but he's all about doing his music, and like he's really talented, man. It's like
yeah,
it's amazing how like different people have different parts of their mind that I mean, you either have that gift or you don't. Like
yeah,
he's got that musical part of the brain that's activated where he can like that's his area of like skill that it just amazes me to hear like some of his music. And then like my other cousin, she's real good at drawing, and I see some of the artwork that she does. I'm like, dude, I want to get this tatted. Like
yeah,
it's just amazing that like when you find that part of your brain that you're good at, and it's something that you enjoy doing.
yeah.
I think if you can find an area where you can make that your job, I mean, that's real success right there. You know what I mean?
I think that
I mean,
I think the biggest reason why I like going over to you guys' house is because I saw the family that I never had. So I never saw that in my own home life. Like us, we were
yeah,
freaking always, fuck this, fuck that, always fighting with once amongst each other, and it wasn't like that home environment that I wanted to be like. Now that when I proposed to my wife back, actually our anniversary was a few last weekend, 6 years already.
Oh, congratulations, man.
Thanks, bud. Yeah, when I proposed to my wife, it's like I just told her, it's like I see the family that I never had. It's like you guys are so close, which drives me crazy now, but because because we were never, my household was never close and shit, obviously. And
Yeah.
I always saw you guys always like there for each other, and freaking your mom, no matter what, always helped you out. When you guys had family
Yeah.
gatherings, the aunts, the sisters, they were all freaking together, and it was just a nice environment. And like I say to this day, I'm very cautious of who I bring around my children, and you guys were a part
Right.
of that. You guys were there. And it's
Yeah.
funny because when we did go to my buddy Ish's birthday, the kids, this was a few years ago. This is before we
Oh,
left Oxnard. I think it was like 2017. And they remember the
okay.
backyard. They pointed towards your guys' backyard. That's where we had Easter.
Oh,
That's where we
really?
had Easter. Yeah.
That's crazy,
So they
dude.
were kind of mentioning it to my wife because my wife's never been to your mom, to your house, your mom
Mm.
Rosie's house. So yeah, they kind of pointed out like, hey, that's where we had Easter, and they still remembered, man. And like I said, you
That's
guys made
awesome,
that
man.
day. You guys made that day fun for them, and I've always appreciated that, man. I always treat, like I said, the way you guys treated me, regardless of whether you guys wanted me there or not. I was always there.
Nah, dude.
We just had to make sure we took off our shoes before we walked in the front door.
Yeah, that's her. She's that's her thing, dude. You gotta take your shoes off at the front door. Some people that gets on their nerves, but she's got that what it's
Expensive
called,
taste.
obsessive compulsive. No, she's like a neat freak. Like she
Yeah.
has to have things clean. And that has to do with her, like how she grew up. She grew
Yeah.
up in an environment where it wasn't. Um, she grew up poor, and so there was cockroaches around. So she has
Oh
a thing
yeah.
about
OCD about ocean.
insects
Yeah. Uh-huh.
and things being dirty, and that's something that she's just it's instilled in her, and she's worked really hard to be in a position where she's able to provide for my little brother and I, and he's doing really good. I mean, he's just got married.
I saw that. I saw that.
Yeah, like a year and a half ago, I think.
I remember
And
I remember a story about your brother. It's like he was little, man. He had to
Yeah.
have been like 11. And this is
Okay.
around the time where SpongeBob was still airing new
Oh, yeah.
episodes.
Yeah.
And
was a big thing with him,
yeah, and I showed up with Frank one day to your house, to your mom's house, and Derek, right?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah,
Sure. Uh-huh.
making sure. And
Yeah, you got it.
he comes out, dude. The new episode of SpongeBob is gonna come out in like 30 minutes. Are you gonna be here? I'm like, Frank, hell yeah, we are, dude. So, dude, I went and I bunked up with your brother in the room, and we're watching SpongeBob. Here I am in my freaking my early 20s with your 11-year-old brother watching SpongeBob, dude. I will never
That's hilarious.
ever forget that, dude. Your little
Yeah.
brother comes out and wants to watch SpongeBob with me, and like, fuck it, let's go.
Yeah, no, you were, like I said, an extended part of our family, dude. Like you were always welcome there because you always had we never saw it as you an inconvenience. I mean, you were always, like I said, my mom, and respect and being polite. I mean, that goes a long way, dude. She doesn't care what you have to offer,
Yeah.
where you come from, or what your background is. It's like if you're like courteous and you're a good person, you're polite. You know what I'm saying? She'll go above and beyond for you. I mean,
Yeah.
that's one thing that I think I'm grateful that she taught me.
Yeah.
Because I try to be the same way. You know what I'm saying? And that's like as you get older, you kind of recognize, things that used to get on my nerves when I was younger really aren't. I mean, they're not that big of a deal these days. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? It really takes a lot to get me worked up or to offend me. I've got pretty thick skin, and everybody's welcome to their opinion.
Yeah.
You can be a Trump supporter, and we can have a discussion about politics and nobody get angry because I'm an adult. You know what I mean? Just because we come from different opinions or different preferences doesn't mean we have to be like enemies. You know what I'm saying?
No,
We
yeah,
can
yeah.
we still have positive friendship. You know what I'm saying?
And even like you were like you were telling me earlier, was like, dude, we never saw you like you said earlier. I didn't even know you were homeless. Like, you know, you always. I try to never look down, regardless of of what's going on in my life. If I'm in somebody's house, I'm not gonna show up looking like I'm homeless and having a rough time, because then I'm gonna bring that environment to your house, and it's like, oh God, here comes the buzzkill. You know what I mean?
No, your energy was always positive. I mean, and I think that's why. I mean, I said I didn't even know. I mean, I don't judge. I try not to judge people. I mean, I think that's built into us. It's human nature. But I mean, there's some days where I might look homeless or whatever, but it's like I don't necessarily. I'm not in a position where I have the means to buy new clothes all the time now, like I used to.
Yeah.
But that's not what's important to me. You know what I mean? I mean, what's important is how, you know, I treat people and how I'm treated by people, and that's basically what you're gonna get.
Yeah.
From me is an initial respect. I have a courtesy and a respect for everybody starting out. And how you respond to that is going to base what me you're going to get. You know, if you're negative and you're probably just not going to be a part of my life. I'm not going to engage you in anything. I'm just going to not include you in anything, because I just don't want to be around negative people.
And like you said earlier,
you never had that.
Yeah, no. And like you said earlier, you were always too busy. You were running 1,000 miles an hour, and like every time I saw you, you were literally out the door, or coming in from work and straight to your room. So. Like, again, like we said, this is the longest conversation we've ever had, like, really. And you know?
It's nice. It's refreshing to sit down with. I mean, I consider you an old friend, but yeah, we haven't really had a chance to sit down and really conversate longer than right now.
Yeah.
But I'm so happy to see that you're in a better place, dude. One that you found somebody that's good for you, that you've gotten married to, and that your kids are growing up, and I see stuff on Facebook and everything. It looks like you're doing really good. I mean, this podcast thing is amazing, man. I'm so happy for you.
I mean,
just to see that you're just doing it,
again, it just started off as an idea, and at first I was very I didn't feel like I can do it on my own, and I always needed somebody to be here with me, and then there's days that I just have stuff on my mind, dude. I'll wake up at 5 a.m. on a Saturday, and there's just too much things running in through my mind, and it's like, I can do it. I can do it. Yeah. I can go in the garage, and I can talk to myself. I mean,
you look like a pro, dude. I mean, when you showed me your set, I'm like, dude, you're a pro. Yeah, like, I mean, that's awesome that you're able to put that together. I mean, a podcast is something that, like, I think a lot of people say, oh, I want to do a podcast, and I'm one of those people, but I haven't been able to put it together yet. You know what I mean? That's why
you asked me in the beginning.
That's one of the things that I was interested in talking to you about.
Yeah.
Just to see that you were able to do it. I mean, it's not that easy, dude.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, that's why I say I'm happy to see that you're doing well, because obviously you've got the motivation and you have the ability to put this together. It's not easy, because I showed you my little camera and stuff. It's like, I think that's the first time I pulled it out of the box.
Yeah.
It's like,
people have asked me to do video podcasts, kind of like what Joe Rogan does.
Yeah.
But I'm like, wait a minute. Okay, so I sit here and I chit chat with my guests for about, let's say, 30 to 45 minutes. Okay.
Right.
Then we record a podcast, another 45 minutes to an hour, depending how long we chit chat for. So that's already, let's say, that's already an hour and a half, hour 45 minutes, right? Then I have to, once I'm done recording and the recording machine is done recording, I have to let the machine do its thing called a mix down. So that's pretty much formatting the audio from left and right to sound right smack in the middle. That takes about another 45 minutes to an hour. So now we're talking 2 hours, 15 minutes, 2 hours and a half. Then I have to put it into the iPad, onto my laptop, and then I edit. That's me listening to the entire podcast all over again, and deleting little sounds here and there. Like right now, there's dogs barking in the back. I don't know if my microphone picked it up, but when I'm editing,
I can't hear it.
But when I'm editing, if I hear them in the background, then if I can delete them, I delete them. If not, not. There's certain mistakes that
Yeah.
I'll make myself, and I was like, I don't like the way that sounded, and I'll delete it, or I'll repeat myself and I'll delete it, and that takes like again another hour,
Yeah.
depending on how long the podcast is. So now we're talking 3 hours, 30 minutes.
Yeah.
So there's
Well, I mean, Joe Rogan's got a whole team of people
dude,
that are helping him
them,
edit all that stuff. You
so
know?
I'm like, if it and then the last thing I do is I make the audio into a video format to put it on YouTube. That alone takes about another 2 hours. So that's a 5.5 hour process for one episode. One episode.
Yeah.
Trust me, I do not want to spend another 5 hours on video podcast. So Evan,
Yeah.
I'm not making
Just
a
so you can see our
podcast on
faces.
video. I'm not making a podcast on video, Evan. Fuck you, dude.
Well, hey, if enough people keep asking you, you might have to just get an assistant.
I'm
and,
right.
and
Right,
do it, bro.
I was talking to some dudes that do a podcast out in San Bernardino County. We were doing like the FaceTime thing on Instagram, and shout out to the Can't Quit My Day Job podcast. And we were chit chatting or whatever, and I told the guy, well, I can use someone on the team, but there's no money involved.
Yeah.
There's no fame.
Strictly hugs.
There's no fame, no
Hugs and
money,
thank yous.
no women.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, I think it's good to have like an outlet for you to vent. I think would be like that's my main interest in having a podcast. Is one to like have that outlet of just being able to vent and talk about what I'm going through or what I whatever I feel like talking about. And secondly is like telling my story, without having to sit down and write a book.
You know what? It's a funny thing you just said that. A funny thing you just said that.
Yeah.
Back in 07, I'm working at this winery part time. It was through a temp agency. It was a Jewish family owned winery. It's actually in Oxnard on Camino del Sol, going towards.
I know where that's at.
Yeah, it's called. I'm not gonna say anything bad about them, but it's a Herzog Winery, and there's a guy
I'm thinking
there.
of a different one.
No, Herzog Winery down Camino del Sol before you get to, I can't remember the name of the freaking street, but it's over there like going towards like Camarillo. And
so it's like the industrial area.
yes,
kinda, right?
yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I know the area.
And Sturgis, isn't it Sturgis over there? I think Sturgis is over there.
Sturgis, yeah. I used to work off of Sturgis.
Okay, and this guy was, his name was David, and he would tell me he would see, and I think that's when I learned not to show my emotions when I'm around other families or people, because it brings back the bad environment or whatever, bad jujus. And he told me, it's like, this is 07, bro. He goes, hey man, I want to write a book about you. People love reality. And this is what he said back in 07. People love reality. So back in 2019, Christmas 2019, when my uncle's like, start a podcast, he said the same thing. You have stories. People love reality. I'm like, why am I going to pay or allow someone else to make money off my book when I can just record it myself?
Yeah.
And put it out there. Now, again, I'm not doing this to get famous. I'm not doing this. If it goes somewhere, it goes somewhere. And I have like 36 episodes, 2,400 downloads. To me, I feel like that's nothing, because some podcasters, that's 2,400 downloads per episode, not entire show. The way I see it is, I'm doing my story so that my kids can hear it later on in life. This is something, this is like my time capsule that I'm burying for my kids to listen 20 years from now. And even then,
like you said, if it goes somewhere, great, but it doesn't have to be for anybody but you and your family. I mean, it's your story, and it's going to be there forever. You know what I mean?
I said this the other day. This is my time capsule. This is for this is for my kids to play back one day. They're on here. They'll hear themselves as little kids, and there's an audio. I should post it behind their back. But when I first got this recording machine, they would come in the garage and they'd turn it on and they'd be playing and then pretending they're playing Fortnite and stuff like that. I think I'm going to post that one day as a fun episode, so they can play back and hear it themselves and be like, that was us. And or play if they ever have kids, my grandkids, and then once I'm long gone, and they'll always be able to hear their dad's voice.
Yeah, and it's like people, I mean, it's not just reality. I mean, people love positive stories. I mean, they love to hear about, people. Um, they love a good comeback story. You know what I mean? Like, and if it's based on reality and this is true, then people are going to be interested in it. I think people they sometimes people need that uplifting story or that inspiration um,
The
to give them hope, or just cheer them up. Or
the
it's just like it's better than listening to negative stuff that they hear all day on the news. Sometimes they want to hear something more positive, something more
some
uplifting. And
sometimes the way I
yeah,
see, sometimes in life you hear it, you listen to somebody and they're going through struggles,
right,
and then you think about it like maybe I'm homeless, but it ain't all that bad.
yeah.
Maybe
Things can always be worse.
someone has it worse than you do. At the end of the day,
Yeah,
there's always someone that has it worse than you do, and you think about it. Maybe my life isn't that bad. Sleeping on a buddy's kitchen floor. Actually, I lied. He put a bed in his kitchen for me to sleep on. So sleeping on a buddy's
yeah,
kitchen in his kitchen compared to people that are sleeping out on the street. Okay, maybe I don't have
right,
it that bad. Maybe
yeah,
maybe I'm classifying. Maybe I'm using the wrong wording. Maybe I wasn't homeless. Because I
yeah,
had somewhere I had good friends to let me sleep somewhere. So maybe, you know
right.
what? Maybe I wasn't homeless.
Well, I mean, the reality is that, yeah. I mean, if you didn't have your own residence, you were, I think you want to look at it as positively as you can, but the fact is that, like, you didn't have a place to live. You were technically homeless, but you weren't. It's not like it's different from being on the streets or sleeping on the streets. But it's not like you don't know what those people are going through either. Some people choose to live that life. Some people, they have no choice. I mean, I'm blessed that I have a family. Otherwise, you know what? I might be on the streets. Um, I mean, it's everybody. We're all just a couple of bad months and bad luck away, or bad choices, or whatever it is, away from being homeless. I mean,
One
unless you're
one
super rich,
no, yeah.
you don't know what tomorrow's going to bring.
Life can hit you like a switch, man. One day it's
Yeah,
bright, the next day it's dark.
yeah.
So,
I mean, and it's like it kind of shows you who your real friends are too. It's like, I mean, having ups and downs isn't necessarily a bad thing. I think I've learned a lot from my ups and downs. I've learned about who my true friends are, and I don't have any negative feelings towards the people that aren't there for me now. It's just like it's an eye opener to see like how much I might have done for certain people and how quickly they disappear when I can't pick up the check anymore. You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
Because I'm just not in that position right, at this particular moment. But things go up and down, and the world keeps spinning, and we all go through stuff, and I just try to be as positive as I can, like you, man. I mean, I think that's why we get along, and I gravitate towards what you're doing right now. It's because I see it as being positive, and it just amazes me that to find out some certain things about what you were going through, because you would never have been able to tell just by your energy. You were always happy and had a smile on your face, and I think that's incredible, dude.
I appreciate it, man.
So
Appreciate it.
yeah, I mean, it's awesome to be here, like talking to you, because it's like it's crazy to see how long it's been that
Yeah.
we've known each other for one, and like how far like you've come, dude. Like you've really accomplished a lot, dude, and it's great to see, dude. I'm happy for you.
I appreciate that, man. I appreciate that. But
Yeah,
again, the way I run my podcast is we have bullshit conversation in the beginning, and then into a serious conversation about
yeah.
what makes Jamie Jamie. And you mentioned the car accident earlier. I
That's
want,
good.
yeah, I want to
Yeah,
know you mean what gets you going, bro? And you are more than welcome to share as much as you want, as little as you
yeah.
want. But
I think I'm still out of breath from just catching up with you before before we started this thing. But
you, well,
um,
it's
yeah,
a good little rundown to get to know what we're gonna talk about, and it click. Because
yeah,
sometimes I had a buddy of mine that came over, and what are we gonna talk about? I don't know, bro. And just us chit chatting for like 20 minutes. It's like boom, there. That's what we're gonna talk
yeah,
about. That's what we're gonna talk about, and then just chit chat, whatever. And you
yeah,
know, you you are going through some tough times, but I'm looking at your face right now. You still have a smile on your face, the same way as you said
Yeah.
I did back in my days. And you know,
I have a lot to be happy about, bro. I'm
yeah,
still alive, you know? I
yeah.
mean, so yeah, I don't, I mean, though you took like a real quick turn to the dark side real quick. I got all grim in here,
I'm
but,
looking at the timer on my recording device, and it hit 30-minute mark. So I was like,
we're at 30 minutes.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay. Well, we might have to have a second session later
There you
on, but
go.
I can give you the quick summary, dude. I mean,
Yeah.
yeah, so I think we're at, it's either 17 or 18 car accidents that I've been in throughout my life. So I'm 40 years old. I spent 8 years working with the county of Ventura as like a social worker, somebody who did Medi-Cal and CalFresh or food stamps, whatever you want to call it.
I think you were actually there when I went to go apply for food stamps.
Yeah, I
you were
wouldn't be able
working
to
there.
tell you if you were or weren't, dude.
Yeah.
It's like a confidential thing. But
No, I know.
I really enjoyed, you know, working with the public, and I don't necessarily miss the work. You know, I miss the ability to go to work. So I have a spinal cord injury, which is I think what you're getting at, like as far as the
Yeah.
serious side of things. That's so I have it's a degenerative disc disease where the vertebrae are actually degenerating, and then because of the car accidents and various falls or accidents, impacts that I've had, there's 4 out of the 8 vertebrae in my neck, they want to fuse together. So like use metal screws and steel plates or titanium plates to hold the vertebrae in place and get it. There's 2 that are actually leaning into the spinal cord, and so 5 years ago when I first found out about it, there was only 1 vertebrae that was leaning into the spinal cord, and now there's 2. But I guess there was 4 out of the 8 that they wanted or needed to fuse because they were degenerating, and in order to keep me walking and alive, so that these vertebrae don't slip any further into the spinal cord or cut it off completely, they need to reinforce it basically. So this is something that I've been dealing with since I was 35 and I'm 40 now, and the doctor told me straight up that if I got into another accident or if I had another fall in the wrong direction, that that could be it. That could be paralyzed from the neck down, best case scenario, or death. I mean, the body, it's just science. The body cannot function if you have a severed spinal cord. That's how the brain transmits signals for you to breathe and your heart rate to function and all that. It's just, I've had, in the beginning, I didn't want to accept it. When you're not that 35 was young, but looking back at what's happened since, I feel like I was
35.
so young then.
You could have still been.
Yeah.
You could have still been playing football, bro. Look at Tom Brady.
It's not. I mean, it's just crazy that you always think you're invincible until you find your kryptonite.
Yeah.
Until you hit that wall, and it's like I think I said it earlier. As cliche as it sounds, like you don't appreciate something until you don't have that ability or don't have it anymore.
Yeah.
And for me, I mean, I had to resign from work because I wasn't able to do the job that I was hired to do anymore, and people were starting to wonder like what was going on with me. Some people thought I had cancer, other people thought I was on drugs. I had lost so much weight because I couldn't sleep at night. I couldn't sleep on a bed because I was in so much pain. I had to sleep on a recliner, and so I was losing all this weight, and I didn't know if I was going to make it or not. I mean, the doctor gave me a time frame that ranged from 5 to 20 years tops. That's if I didn't get in another accident or have any falls. That was like best case scenario. And I was like, you know, I was like, dude, okay, I'll see you in 30 years, you know?
Yeah.
That's not, I mean, I don't know. I'm sure he's a really smart guy or whatever, but we had some differing opinions about, you know, what my lifespan was going to be. So unfortunately for me, I've been in 2 car accidents since being told, you know, that, and I also had an incident where I was on an inversion table, so those cedar hang-ups, I don't know if you've seen those on TV where you get held upside down by your feet, and it releases the pressure from your back.
Yeah.
It's really good for you. You don't want to get the cheap versions of those. So I got a cheap one for like $99.
Oh, no.
And after about a year, it dropped me on my head.
Oh,
Like,
no.
literally on top of my head. I didn't fall very far, but it
You
was
could
a
have still hurt
painful
yourself. Yeah.
lesson. Yeah, it's a type of fall that quite literally can kill anybody. But having a spinal cord injury already, I think it was good
didn't
that I
tense
was
up.
flat.
Yeah, it didn't tense up.
Yeah, I mean, it dropped me directly on top of my head, so I mean, there was some compression, but if my neck would have been turned in any way,
Yeah.
that would have been probably lights out. You know, I don't, you know, nobody's invincible, but I knew right away that I was fine because I felt the pain everywhere.
Yeah.
Like I could, it was like somebody came and hit me with a baseball bat in the back of my neck.
Oh,
and
shit.
I mean, I felt like crying, but I had to laugh because one, I was just like, I can't believe that just happened, for one, and secondly, that I'm still fucking alive, or I'm still alive, because I was just like, I was in disbelief, but I was so incredibly like, just shocked that, okay, so that was really stupid to get a $99 inversion table. We're talking about life and death here, and secondly, like, man, you're still here. Let's keep this moving, you know?
Yeah.
So, you know, it's funny because I'm still here, you know? I have some like every once in a while, like, you know, I notice like my word finding abilities.
Yeah.
I mean, that's like a cognitive issue, but I mean, there's been some changes, and I think the long-term effect of these vertebrae leaning on the spinal cord, you know, it has impact on things that I don't necessarily understand, but I can tell when the difference between how I used to be able to process certain things, you know, and how my brain works now. And it's not like, I don't see it as a sad thing. It's like, well, I got to adapt. You know, this is what I'm capable of doing now.
Yeah.
You know, I'm focusing on my health and staying as positive as I can be. You know, I went from being somebody who was issuing food stamps to somebody who needed to be on food stamps, and it's like there's no shame in it. It's like, this is my situation, and you know, I'm glad that I live in a place where, you know, if you need help, there's help.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not much, but it's better than nothing, and at least, you know, there is a lot, you know, that I think that is available through the county, that I'm grateful for.
Yeah.
And
you
know,
look,
I'm not.
you look healthy, buddy.
There's no sob story here. Like, I've had a good run. Like, I mean, life is good, and I don't see it as being over. You know, like I still have goals and things that I'm.
Nah, dude, you look healthier than I've ever seen you before, man. You look healthy, man.
Yeah, and it's like I feel healthy, dude, and it's because, you know, it hurts, but like I work out every day. You know, I do my little exercises and stretches, and you know, I always feel like whatever pain comes with it, it's better than how I used to live when I was in my 20s, and I would wake up hungover the next day in pain because who knows what happened. You know, I jumped over a bush or off a roof or whatever, and it's like I don't jump off a curb if I can avoid it now. You know what I mean? It's like I don't.
You know what's funny?
Desire.
You know what's funny?
Yeah.
I have no injuries in my body like you. I am nowhere close to what you have, but I'll watch. We'll be watching TV with the kids. Oh, Airborne. Remember Airborne? The guy
with the dog, I think,
no,
right?
no, 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 no.
Basketball.
That's Airbud. Airborne is the guy
okay.
that goes from LA to Wisconsin, and he's on rollerblades, like, and he's playing like roller skating with kids and shit like that, and he's a new kid in school, and they treat him like shit, and they fuck with him, and whatever, blah blah blah. Anyways,
No, I don't think I've seen that.
it's an old and an early. Seth Green is really young, dude. Seth Green has to be a teenager in this movie, and
What is it called again? Airborne.
Airborne.
Oh, I'll check it out.
And so they're on again. There's rollerblades, and I have the kids watch it because I like to have them watch older movies that I grew up watching. And so this guy's doing flips and this and that, and I tell the kids, I used to do that. Yeah, I remember those days. Now, fuck that.
Dude, I'm the same way. Like I actually used to rollerblade too, and jump over electrical boxes.
Yep.
All kinds of stupid shit I would never even try now.
One time the kids at the trailer park that we lived at, they set a shopping cart on his side, and they put a 2x plywood on it, and they're like, Andy, jump it, you can do it. No joke, here I go, I'm going, and as I'm in the air, time slowed down. Slowed down. As you're falling, because I went straight up and not at an angle towards the street, up and down, straight down.
Yeah.
Where
that was your adrenaline.
Yeah, for some reason my arm created a new arm sleeve through the shoulder. Like, how the hell did my arm get from this hole to the other? It made a whole new hole on the shirt. There is no way in hell that you will ever see me do something that stupid again.
Yeah.
Dude.
Dude, I could tell you endless stories about some things that I've done. I mean, but that's how it is when you're young, you're invincible, and you don't think about. I think it's some famous baseball player who said, it's this quote that I remember. I don't know, I'm probably going to jack it up, but it said something like, if I knew I was going to live to be this old, I would have taken better care of myself when I was younger. And it's like, it sits with me because, like, that's how I feel. Like, if I had known I was going to make it this far, I never would have done the stupid shit that I did. But, like, some things are beyond, our control. Like, the car accidents and stuff. Some are poor choices and some are just wrong place, wrong time. And maybe some things are meant to be, you know what I mean? It's like, I feel like I've gained from this experience. It's like, it's changed my outlook. And yeah, it's had some negative impact on my ability to do certain things, but it's had a much more positive influence on, like, how I view life and how I appreciate things, like the simple things.
That's the one thing that I kind of like. My wife tells me sometimes that I drive like a grandma. I've never been in a car accident. Yeah. I've never been in a car accident, but I'm very cautious.
Keep driving like a grandma, dude.
Right? And she tells me that that I drive like a grandma, and the way I tell her is like, I have 4 lives in my car right now, mine, yours, and the boys. And I can't put their lives at risk if I'm driving like an idiot. And
right.
I remember one day when I first got my car, brand new, not brand new, but it's brand new to me. And my company gave me 4 Angels tickets. I'm not an Angels fan, but my father-in-law, my brand new father-in-law is. So let me drive from Santa Barbara to Oxnard to pick up the boys, to drive all the way to Baldwin Park to pick up my father-in-law, to then drive to Anaheim to watch the game.
Wow, that's a mission, dude.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
And we got to the on our seats with 15 minutes to spare before the game started.
Wow.
And
that's a long way, dude.
On our way home to drop him off, because I'm always mirror. I'm always watching over my shoulders. I'm always making sure. I'm driving him home to drop him off. It's already dark. And I'm kind of keeping my eye on this one vehicle, and then out of the blue, I don't slam on the brakes, but I kind of tap on the brakes where it's noticeable, and my father-in-law jumped, and he was like, "Holy shit! How did you know you was gonna do that?" I'm like, "Suegro, I've been watching him for the past 5 minutes. Trust me, I knew he was gonna end up doing something stupid." And my kids too, the boys are like, "Holy shit, Dad! You like? Can you tell time?" I'm like, no, I mean, can you tell future? No, but if I did, we wouldn't be broke.
Yeah.
So
I think
very cautious.
Being able to anticipate, what's going on around you, and like you said, it's like I thought I was a really good driver I still consider myself a good driver, but things happen, you know.
And a blink of an
Nobody's
eye.
perfect, and all it takes is one second of you not paying attention,
Yeah.
um,
And a blink of an
and
eye.
that's it.
Yeah.
The life changes, you know, and it's
Yeah.
not just you; it's other people, you know. So, um, yeah, life is, you know, it's fragile, but it's like you gotta live accordingly. Like we all have a time frame, and I think people don't like to necessarily address it or think about it or plan for it, but it's part of our reality of being human, and I think that's what makes life special, is that unfortunately it does come to an end, but like would we really be able to appreciate life if it didn't,
I
you know what I
was
mean?
I was actually talking to my son last weekend about death, and I told him that
Yeah,
you know, he's old enough to understand, and because he wanted a new different haircut, and I'm like, and I kind of talked to him, mijo. I mean, did you want a different haircut to impress a girl, mijo, or like did a girl ask you? Did a girl tell you about your hair? Because you
yeah,
came out super excited from your room when after you were talking to your friends. I mean, did you do it for a girl? He goes, no, Dad. I'm like, I just know, mijo, that one day you're gonna get your heart broken, and I don't want you to do something stupid, because life is precious. And imagine me, mijo. If I would have killed myself that day, you wouldn't have a dad. You would have been born, but you wouldn't have a dad. And
yeah.
what would have sound better? Think about this one. How would it sound better? Andy, passed away because the man committed suicide, or
Yeah.
Andy passed away at an old age but lived to be the greatest fucking father on earth. Which one
Right.
sounds better, buddy? He goes, the greatest father on earth. Exactly.
Yeah.
So, life lesson. Life lesson is to live your life. Your life can change in a blink of an eye, but we got to move forward. We got to keep going. If I
Well,
that day, if I would have taken one more step forward, bro, that train would have taken my life.
I'm glad that you didn't take that step, dude. Um,
So,
you know, you're too good of a guy, and I think it's brave of you to be able to talk about it. I think it's important that you keep talking about it, dude,
yeah,
because there's a lot of people that struggle with that. And you know, like I said, I'm glad you're still here. I know your kids got to be um, happy that you made that choice. And you know, there's a lot to live for, dude. I mean, life gets tough, and you know, everybody has challenges, and I think that's why it's important to be like like nice to everybody or respectful to everybody, and treat people with a certain amount of kindness, because you never know what they're going through, dude.
yep,
You know, you don't necessarily know what other people are struggling with just because you can't see it.
yeah,
Um, and you know, I think that a little bit of kindness goes a long way, dude.
yeah,
Um, I think
yes, sir.
that might be part of the reason why I'm still here, is because like deep down inside, I believe in karma, and I've always tried to be a good person. I mean, I have
Oh,
my moments. Don't get me wrong.
oh, trust me,
You
bro.
know,
Trust me, man.
but it's
I
like
believe in
deep
karma
down,
too.
I'm a I try to be as good a person as I can be. You know what I'm
That's
saying?
good, man.
Yeah.
And
And
again, we,
so
we go back to the
yeah,
beginning of the podcast. You were good to my kids, man. You fucking showed them a good time that Easter. They still remembered a few years later. You know.
yeah. I
So
mean, that's amazing to hear, dude.
yeah,
That makes me happy to hear that they had a good time for one, and
yeah,
that you look back at as a us treating you, um, you know, the way you deserve to be treated. I mean, it doesn't matter what you have.
yeah.
You're a good person, and I'm glad that you had a good time here. You know,
Thank you,
like
man.
I said, you're we consider you family, bro. So I mean, time passes, but like I said, I'm glad to see you're doing good, and I'm glad that you had me on the show, man. It's nice to talk to you like longer than for 5 minutes, and
This is
it's cool to
definitely
see how this works.
this
You
is
know,
definitely the
it's fucking
longest conversation we've ever had.
yeah. I think it's been a cool thing. Thanks for having me on here, and
Yeah.
it's cool to see you doing that, and I hope that you keep doing it, man. I'm happy to come back anytime.
Hey,
You know,
man.
you want to hear some
Stop.
some jibber jabber.
Stuff will always happen. Life lessons will always happen. I will always learn something new. I'll always have something to talk about. And if I don't have something to talk about, I can bring a guest on like I did you that will
Yeah,
give me something to talk about and to help me remind me again, to help me to remember where I've been, where I was, and what I have.
yeah,
And you keep doing you. Freaking again,
No doubt.
you look fucking healthy. I think,
Thank you, man.
I think when, no offense, but I think back in the days you were double the weight. Look at you now,
Oh yeah.
and
Yeah.
you
I
know,
appreciate that, man.
keep doing your thing, and say hi to your mom for me and your brother,
Will do.
and give them both a hug and a kiss from me. And
Yeah.
like I end every podcast, buddy. Thank you for riding with me.
No doubt.
Thank you for listening to Ride With Me, the Flat Tire Indie Podcast. You can also listen to us on iTunes, Spotify, and Podbean.